Hey everyone, it's really good to see you again. For today's episode, I thought that I would do a Q&A. It's been a while since I did my last Q&A, and as I'm going to be traveling this week, I thought that it would be nice for me to do a simple, easy video where I answer some of your questions that you sent in for me. I'm here in my local garden. I haven't been in here for a few weeks. I can tell you that it's really changed. As you can see, the leaves are on the ground. The leaves on the trees are starting to turn orange, so autumn is coming and the seasons are changing. So I hope that you enjoy and like the questions that I'm going to answer. This is a really great question. I have wanted a garden for many years and I haven't really had one. I had a few gardens in my previous homes with my ex-boyfriend, but we always lived in apartments, so they were always shared gardens. We got to enjoy them, but we never really got to put our own stamp on them. So I have been wanting a garden for many years, and because of that I've been spending all that time planning and thinking about the type of garden that I would like to have. One of my biggest resources for inspiration when it comes to gardens and interiors is Pinterest. So over the years I have pinned literally thousands of pictures of gardens, of interiors, of inspiration, things that I really love. So they're all in one place and they are ready for me to look at. I will give you the link to my Pinterest below so that you can check that out for yourselves. There's loads of pictures on there for you to look through. I'm sure you'll spend many hours doing that. So yes, for my garden, because it is a courtyard garden with high stone walls and there is no grass, I see it as kind of like a courtyard garden. So that is the kind of thing that I've been looking at when I've been thinking about what I want to do for that space. With courtyard gardens, again, because there's no grass, you have to think about how you're going to make it into a more beautiful place with other things like pots. So that is the first thing that I thought about when I saw that space, is that I knew that I needed to have lots of big pots. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to have lots of pots around the patio area, and I'm going to fill them probably with all different types of planting. Because I'm not really an experienced gardener, I think, and because winter's coming up, I think I'm going to start with a lot of evergreens like topiaries to give form and structure, and because it looks quite French and elegant. I do really like French courtyard gardens, so I think I'll be doing that. In terms of softening some of the stone, because there is a lot of grey stone there, I would like to grow maybe like a creeper up the wall, like ivy. I think that is quite easy to do. I remember that my parents grew ivy in their garden and it grew really quick. So I think I can do that around the doors and the windows, just to really soften the wall and frame the beautiful Georgian windows. I think having that spruce of green will really lift the whole space and make it look a lot more beautiful. What I also would like to do is add some trellis to one of the back walls. I think trellis is a really neat way to add some architectural interest and to make a feature in the garden. It's very inexpensive. You can just attach it to the wall. You can paint it different colors if you want. You can grow things up it. You can put mirrors in between it. And it just breaks up the stone of the wall, so that you've got another texture, another piece of material, and to provide that architectural interest. Lastly, what I would like to do in the garden is I want it to be a place where people can come round and sit. So I'm obviously going to have a really nice bench, some table and chairs. And when I've been thinking about what I would like to do for those types of things, I'd like to have something that's quite rustic, probably teak wood that has aged. I would like to find something that's been used secondhand, so that we don't have the newness of fresh shiny wood. And so yeah, seating, benches, tables, so that people can come and sit around. So this will take me quite a long time to get all of that done, but I'm happy about that. I like to do things in a process, so I will be sharing that on this channel, and I think it will look very nice. though that I'm not an etiquette expert, I thought this was a really great question because I think for many of us who are single, this has become the norm, the way of life for us for dating. It is the most convenient and easy way, especially during a pandemic when you're not allowed to go out and meet people. Dating online has become the way for us to connect with other people and get potential dates. I have to say that I do find it a little bit sad that online dating is the most usual way for us to date now for people who are single. But I do have a few tips that I can give you. I wouldn't say etiquette because I'm not really an expert on these things, but what I think is the best way to approach online dating for yourself. There's not really much that we can do in terms of the other person, what we can do to control them, but there are a few things that you can do for yourself to make sure that you're the best version of yourself and that you are being polite to other people when you're dating online. So I know that the big mantra of life is that we should never judge a book by its cover, but if we're all honest, the first thing that we're going to look at when we are thinking about whether we want to date someone is their photographs. So the first thing that I would say is make sure that you have some really good photographs. The first type of photograph that you need to have is a very clear head and shoulder shot so that people can see your face. No sunglasses, no face masks. I've seen so many people who have their first picture on a dating app with a face mask on or sunglasses, and I really don't understand. You cannot see your face, so you do not need to wear a mask online, so there's no excuse why you should. Be brave, show your face. If someone likes your face, they're going to connect with you, and if they don't, who cares? So first one is have a clear headshot of your face. So the next piece of advice that I have when it comes to your photographs is have a picture of you smiling, showing your teeth. I think it's nice to see people smile, and actually teeth really transform a picture and change the way that you see someone. It really does alter the whole face, and it's a really nice, friendly way to show your personality and show people who you are. There's nothing nicer than a smile, so I would say always have a picture of you smiling. If you want to have a picture of you looking more serious, do that, but also include a picture of yourself smiling. The next kind of photograph that I would suggest is that you have a full length picture so that people can see the whole of you, your body from top to bottom. And this isn't about checking you out, checking if you're hot or whether you have a hot body. It's just so that people can see what you look like, not just from your head and shoulders, but the whole of you. It really is important for people to be able to see what you look like and get some kind of insight about that. When it comes to photographs, make sure that you have a clear one of your face. Try to smile, show your personality, show your whole body, and maybe show some pictures of you in real situations. A lot of people tend to take pictures of them taking selfies in a mirror. It doesn't really show your personality. Take pictures with your friends, take pictures doing activities that you enjoy, but make sure that every picture that you post online when you're wanting to date is clear and crisp so that people can really see who you are and they're not going to be disappointed if you meet in real life. When you do connect with someone online, my biggest piece of advice is to really make an effort. Can't tell you how many times that I've matched with people on apps and I've really liked their photographs, liked their profile, and then I very quickly discover that they can't hold a conversation even in the first few text exchanges, and I find that really annoying and very lacking in effort. I think it's very important that if you want to date and you're serious about it, you have to make the effort. It's really difficult to make a connection with people, especially online, so if you want to do that, both parties have to really make the effort and try to make conversation instead of like, hey, how are you? I'm fine, how are you? Good, thanks. That is the end of the conversation. Think of things to say that are interesting, that will keep the conversation flowing so that you can kind of build a connection with someone and then maybe see if you want to meet up. I would also say be very, very nice. Be as nice as you can when you're dating online. Remember that it is hard for all of us who are doing it. We all hate doing it, I think, if we're honest with ourselves. So just remember that, and remember that it's not easy. If you're going on a date with someone, be very nice, make them feel comfortable and relaxed. They will relax with you and you'll have a much better time. And even if there's no attraction, at least you will have met somebody who's very sweet. What I would also say about dating, when you do meet somebody in person, if you don't feel that there's an attraction there, I think it's very important to be honest about that with them after the date. So if they're texting you and you can tell that they're interested in you and you're not, you never ignore them or lead them astray. You have to be completely honest from the very beginning and say, look, I had a really nice time, you're a great person, but I didn't really feel a connection. That has happened to me on a few occasions. I've met people, I've liked them, they didn't like me back, and they were very honest about it, and that is very much appreciated, because then you know where you stand and you can move on and just move on with your life. Okay, so I don't think that there is a magical formula that will guarantee that you have success on YouTube. Obviously, YouTube is a huge platform with millions of users, billions of views every day. There's a huge audience to try and get through to. So if you do have success on YouTube, you've done pretty well, and the chances of it happening are quite small. That being said, I do think that there are some things that I can tell you that will help you to have more of a chance of succeeding and having a channel that people really like, so that you can get more subscribers, more views, and really build a connection with your audience. I think the number one thing that you need to have if you want to be successful on YouTube is something to say. What I mean by this is that you need to have some kind of niche or area of expertise that you really love and are passionate about. If you don't have that, then I don't think it's going to work. People will be able to tell that you're not really interested in what you're doing or what you're talking about, and you will not have enough content to keep the channel going for time and time. With YouTube, what you need to have is consistency. So you need to find a subject that you can talk about again and again and again, constantly, and that you can talk about and engage, make people feel engaged. So that's what you need to have first off, is something to talk about and a passion, something that you can keep viewers interested in and make them feel your passion coming through the screen. For example, with my channel, it's all about the home, beautiful things, elegant living, and just finding joy in every day. That is quite a broad topic, but I feel that everything that I talk about is something that I'm passionate about, so I'm able to project that to you, the audience, and hopefully you are enjoying this content. If I tried to talk about gaming or sports or other subjects that I'm not really that into, I wouldn't be able to do that. I wouldn't be able to project that passion to you, and the videos would be very dull and flat. So my number one tip is have something to say, have a subject and a niche that you can really get into and that you can share with other people, and that is the biggest chance you've got for gaining an audience and really connecting with them. The next thing that I think is very important if you want to create a YouTube channel that is successful, I just talked about in the previous point, is that you need to be consistent and plan your content. With YouTube, the way that it works is with an algorithm, and this algorithm will pick up if you are getting a lot of comments on your videos and if you're being consistent. For example, if you're posting every Friday, it will recognize that you're posting every Friday, and it may draw more viewers to you. So what you need to do, once you figure out your niche, you need to make a plan for the next 3 months, so that if, for example, you're telling your viewers that you're going to have a video every single Friday, that you have a video every single Friday to post. Then you'll be able to plan weeks in advance what you need to do to make that video happen. For example, if you're going to go and shoot in a location like a hotel or a restaurant, you'll be able to contact them in advance, tell them that you're coming, start to maybe go and see the location so that you can think about what you want to say. But you need to have that plan and that consistency so that your videos will always be interesting, well thought out, and very engaging for your audience. So now that we've talked about consistency, once you have a plan for what you're going to shoot, the content that you're going to film and put out onto YouTube, talking again about the algorithm and how you can really get the best out of that, there are some things that you can do that will really help you to get the algorithm to recognize and pick up on your videos. The first one is to make sure that the title of your video is very crystal clear about what's in the video. For example, if I was doing a video about how to create the perfect afternoon tea at home, I would call it How to Create the Perfect Afternoon Tea at Home. It very clearly tells you what is going to be in that video. You're going to be learning how to create the perfect afternoon tea at home. It tells the viewer what to expect, and it also has very clear keywords that the algorithm can pick up, so that if someone is searching for how to create an afternoon tea at home, it will demonstrate that video to them and show it to them. The next really important thing is the description box. This will tell your viewer what to expect in the video, and again, it's also a way for the algorithm to try to recommend your video to new viewers. So you need to make sure that the description box accurately tells viewers and the algorithm what is going to be in that video. talking again about the afternoon tea example. If you write in the description box, this is a video about how to create afternoon tea, it's not really going to tell the algorithm what to expect. Have really detailed descriptions. Today in this video I'm going to talk about how to create the perfect afternoon tea at home. I'm going to show you how to make the sandwiches, I'm going to show you how to make the scones, I'm going to show you how to lay the table, and I'm going to show you what you can do to really make your tea party extra special. That is a more detailed description of what the video is about, and it gives the algorithm a chance to recommend your video to other people. So as always, the weather can be quite unpredictable in Edinburgh, and as we were filming in the garden it started to rain, so I decided to come home and finish off this Q&A here. And actually it's quite nice that it's worked out this way, because the next question is, it is a fall day, you're sitting in a cozy armchair by the fire, what are you eating? And I thought that this was a really pleasant question, something a little bit different. And as autumn and winter is coming up, and a lot of people were asking me similar questions about how to make your home cozy for the autumn, I thought that it would be a good one for me to answer here. So in terms of what am I going to be eating in a cozy armchair by the fire in the autumn, for me, during the autumn and the winter time, I really start to crave soups. And I know that may seem a little bit boring, but especially if you're sitting in an armchair, a soup is a really good food that you can eat very casually on a tray, a beautiful tray with a napkin, and you can make it very elegant. It's a very simple food to eat where you don't really need to think about it too much. You can be very casual and relaxed. And I just love that soups are kind of a labor of love to create. You can go into the kitchen, there's lots of things to prepare. You have to chop all the vegetables and then put them into a big pot on top of the stove. It's really warming and cozy, and you add all the ingredients together, and then it starts to come together and you create something from a whole heap of ingredients. And it's just a very simple, organic thing to do for me. I really enjoy getting on a nice autumn day, getting into the kitchen and just making a beautiful soup. And then when you come into your little living room in your little cozy chair, and you have your tray and the soup is piping hot, and then you might have a beautiful piece of bread to go with it with some rich butter, and it's just a very cozy, beautiful thing. Also, after that I would probably have baked a delicious cake. So I would have a slice of cake sitting by the fire with a pot of tea and just really soak in the atmosphere of autumn and winter. Even though it's not my favourite season, I do prefer the spring and the summertime. I just love being outside and the freshness of spring. But I will embrace that season by just enjoying the most wonderful things that it offers and making the most of it. And I think having a lovely bowl of soup in a chair and then a piece of delicious cake with tea is my idea of heaven. What I can also do is link some of my favourite cookbooks that I like to use for the autumn-winter season, where they have a lot of very comforting home-cooked foods like soups and broths, maybe some stews and pies. Those are the kinds of things that I like to eat during the autumn-winter, just very comfortable, rich, indulgent food. So I will share with you some of my favourite cookbooks that have these recipes. There is a very beautiful one that I actually did in a short video earlier this year called The Secrets of Pistolet, and it is kind of like a storybook based on recipes. So it's the story of this lady who goes to this Italian village and stays in this B&B, and when she goes there, the food restores her from all the troubles of life. And the way that the recipes are explained in this book are so elegant and charming, and I really fell in love with that one. So that is a very nice one for me to recommend to you. I'll also recommend some others for these very comforting foods that are perfect for the autumn and winter. So yes, a lot of people did ask the question about how you can make your home more cozy for the winter and how to really get your house ready for the autumn and winter. But as I said, even though autumn, winter aren't really my favourite seasons, I do get the need to kind of hibernate and really enjoy the coziness of your home. And that is something that I will do every year, because I just think that even though I do prefer the spring and the summer, might as well make the best of it and just make home the most comfortable place that it can be. When it's very cold outside, the light is very low, it's nice just to be at home and really embrace the comfort and joy of being there. So one of the most important things for me is lighting, and that is especially more important in the autumn and winter. I think in the spring and the summertime we've got a lot of natural light coming into the house, so lighting isn't so key. Although that being said, I do love beautiful light in the evening. But I think in the autumn and winter, when you're really, really low on natural light, it's very important to make sure that the lighting in your house is perfect. And that is something that I relish every year. I really try to make sure that my lighting will give the most cozy ambient glow to my house possible. One of the things that people will do in the autumn and winter when we're really lacking in natural light is they will try to ramp up the lighting in their homes to make the rooms brighter. And actually, I think that is not the correct approach. You're never going to be able to compete with nature. So my advice is to embrace the low light and really just go with that. I think it's much nicer to have a very dimly lit, cozy home in the autumn and winter rather than trying to really brighten your house with white, blue lighting that is just going to make it feel cold. One of the ways that I really love to get my lighting perfect is to paint my light bulbs. And this is something that I've spoken about quite a few times, I think, here on YouTube. So apologies if you've heard this trick before, but I think it is such a good one that it's worth sharing for people who haven't seen that, maybe new viewers. So yeah, I like to paint my light bulbs with little tester pots of paint, usually in very rich, dark yellow, peachy tones. And they just make the room look so comfortable and beautiful, and actually it makes everyone who's in the room look their very best. Everybody looks wonderful in peachy lighting. Trust me, it really works. So not only will your home look extra cozy and really glowing with love, everybody in the room will also look very handsome or pretty. The next thing you can do is very obvious changes, like changing up the accessories and decor in your house. So for example, swapping cotton and linen throws and blankets for wool or cashmere. I really love nothing more than to get on the sofa with a beautiful blanket, a hot chocolate, watch a film, total bliss. So even though I just said that I actually prefer spring and summer, and now that I'm thinking about this, I actually do really enjoy the autumn and winter, especially the run-up to the festive period, you know, when it's very exciting and there's lots to look forward to. I think when it gets to January, February, and we've had it for a few months, that's when I really start to think, oh, come on, time for spring. But yeah, I do actually enjoy the autumn and winter. Another way that I like to make my home cozy, and I think it's something that probably is overlooked a lot, is by making it smell wonderful. And in many of the homes that I've lived in, I've had a real fireplace. I'd say probably 60% of the houses that I've lived in have had a real working fireplace where you burn wooden logs. And one of the most wonderful things about that is the scent of the wood. Not only when it's crackling in the fire, but also when you have it stacked next to the fire in a basket or just in a stack. The smell of the fresh wood is just something that I don't think you can ever beat. An expensive candle would never be able to reproduce that heavenly scent, and I just think that it's something that really reminds me of the autumn and winter and the comfort and coziness of home. So I don't have a real fireplace in this new house. This is a gas fire, which is a shame. I do like to have a real fireplace, but what I think I will do is I have 2 log baskets, and I think I will actually put them out onto the fireplace and fill them with logs, even though I won't be able to use them. Just having them there, being able to see them, and the wonderful scent that it will give will just make this room a lot more cozy. And people who are coming into the house who don't know that that isn't a real fire, maybe that will just give them the illusion that it is. So that is another good trick, I think. Even if you don't have a real working fireplace, put a basket of logs next to the fire. You'll really enjoy the scent and it will look very elegant. But yes, as I've mentioned many times, I do love scented candles. I'm not one of these people who in the autumn and winter likes to fill my house with, you know, pumpkin spice and roasted hazelnuts and marshmallows. I'm very much the scent that I like all throughout the year is generally the same, and that's very natural, fresh scents like things that you would find in a garden, rose, geranium. I also like fresh earthy scents, so also like a little bit of tomato. All those things, freshness, they keep me going throughout the winter. I'm not really into those very sweet saccharine candles where it smells like a hot chocolate. I'm not really into those. I prefer fresh, real scents. I also think that the beauty of candles, again, is that they give off a really wonderful light, and you can have lots of them in groups. Even if you don't have scented candles and you're just buying like pillar candles that are unscented, they're very inexpensive. Just to have them dotted around, especially reflecting in mirrors so that they're flickering all throughout the house, that will really create a beautiful ambience and get your home cozy. But please be careful. So I think that is all that I have for this week's Q&A. I just want to say thank you to everybody who did leave me a question. There were over 1,000 questions. I tried to read through them all, and I did try to pick questions that a lot of people asked so that I could touch on those subjects that you wanted to know about. So I hope that you found this interesting. For me, it was really fun to answer your questions. I'm going home this week for my brother's graduation. As I'm filming this, it's Wednesday, it's going to be uploaded on Friday, and it's a surprise. He doesn't know that I'm coming, so it'll be really nice to see him and celebrate his amazing achievement. So by the time this video goes out on YouTube, the graduation will have happened. Hopefully I'll be able to share some photographs with you, but if not, I will share them next week on Instagram and also here on YouTube. So I hope you have a really great weekend and a wonderful week ahead. I will see you next Friday. Take care. Bye-bye.